Coach, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on.
Thanks, Jack. I appreciate it.
Team's off to a great start this year, but it's got a funny-looking record with more ties than losses. So 9-4-6, 6 ties. That's an unusual dynamic.
Yeah, it happens every once in a while. I mean, I know in the pro level they've really tried to make an effort to eliminate ties, and I don't think we've done enough in college hockey to eliminate ties. Everybody's so worried about the pairwise and the rankings for the NCAA that they don't want to lose a game that's not the game. So shootouts are something that's been tried, and in some leagues are still doing them. But we play the 5-on-5 overtime for 5 minutes, and that's it. And this conference actually that we played in this past weekend actually goes to 3-on-3 after the 5-on-5, and then they go to a shootout. So it's something I think our conference and maybe nationally we need to look at is finding a way to eliminate all the ties. And I'm okay with ties when we get them on the road, but you'd certainly like to see, for the fans' perspective, is to have a resolution to each game.
What's your preferred way of resolving them?
Well, I've recommended in the past that we should try to emulate the National Hockey League. I mean, we try to recruit players because they aspire to play in the National Hockey League. That I think, with the exception of fighting, we should probably emulate the National Hockey League in almost every aspect. I'm not a big fan of the trapezoid for the goaltenders either. But other than that, I think that we should mirror the NHL and look at 3-on-3 potentially has become really popular in the National Hockey League, but they go right to it.
Right.
And then if they don't have and almost every game is being resolved in 3-on-3 now. So, but they go to a shootout after that. But from the national perspective, I think we should end the game at 60 minutes and then take the record from that. And then let's find a way to, come to, a conclusion to every game.
Right. You mentioned the trapezoid for the goaltender. Speaking of goaltenders, we've been led by one this year. We had the privilege of having him on the show a few weeks ago, and he did a great job here. But man, is he good!
Yeah, I mean, last year we saw it in the second half. Almost, he's almost like he played this past weekend. Our team's been much better this year as minimizing shots until this past weekend. I mean, we've been averaging only like 23 shots a game against. But last year, the second half of last year, we were giving up against some of the opponents we were playing. We were giving up almost 40 shots a night, which was one of the things we wanted to clean up. And so far this year, he's managed that the lower shot totals pretty well. But more recently, this weekend, he was a difference maker, and he has that ability to make the difference in the game. And he's like a great closer in baseball. He has that ability to make the big save at the right time too, which is essential.
He's got that goalie personality too. He's unflappable.
Yeah, he is. He's got a good demeanor. He's got a great attitude. He's really well liked by his teammates. I mean, goaltending is a unique position, because it's almost like a singular sport within a team sport. And he's really managed it well as far as his role on the team. We actually made him part of our leadership group this year because he's that respected by his teammates, not just from his ability level, but from his personality and his relationship with his teammates. And he also does the job in the classroom, which is a nice combination for one of your best athletes.
Leadership is such an important factor for all our teams here at Notre Dame, and it's a difference maker from year to year frequently. Beyond Cal, who are the guys you're looking toward for leadership this year?
Well, we have a great senior class led by Stephen Fogarty, but Thomas DePauli and Andy Ryan, Mario Lucia, and Sam Hare. First time in my career I've ever actually made 5 captains. Generally, we usually have between 3 and 4. But this year I thought that each one of them had a specific strength that would benefit each other. And they're so close. They're such good friends, and they get along so well, and they all do things the right way. So it was an easy choice for me to just name them all captains. And, Stephen Fogarty's been our captain for the last 2 years. He comes from a military family. His dad was an admiral in the Navy, and his brother's in the Navy SEALs. And you just tell on the character of the kid. He comes from that kind of a family, and he's very calm, but he's got a great demeanor with his teammates, and he can also do it on the ice, which is an important facet to being a good leader as well.
Yeah, it sure is. On the other end of the spectrum, who are the guys contributing this year that the fans may just be getting to know, whether they're freshmen or they're taking on a new role this year? Where are the new contributions coming from?
Well, I think people got a chance to see some of our talented sophomores are starting to show up a lot more. I think that quietly Connor Hurley's had a real good year for us this year, as well as Jake Evans. Everybody probably knows a little bit more about Anders Bjork, having made the national junior team and coming back with a bronze medal this weekend. But the thing is some of the sophomores are really starting to show their ability level. And I'd also say that that Dawson Cook is a kid that this year that didn't play much last year, starting to show a little bit more ability level and creating some offense, which we thought he had in him, and he's done a good job in anchoring kind of a what we call a grind line. Guys that do a good job in the forecheck and in the offensive zone, and they've done a good job, but. And then, I think from the freshman class as well, we've got some young guys there. There's none of them that are like right now that are going to be considered star players, but they all are very smart and contributing players. Dylan Malmquist, Andrew Ogilvie, Joe Wegworth, and more recently here, Jack Jenkins is a guy I think people are going to start noticing a little bit. He's starting to play a little bit more right now, especially with Anders being gone last weekend. He played against BC, scored a goal. Just a tenacious player that fans will probably pick up on once they start getting a sense of who he is.
Great honor for Anders to be chosen for the national team. Got a chance to watch a lot of those games. I saw the ones where they were winning 10-1 and 8-2. They had a tough loss in the semifinals to Russia, 2-1. But beyond Anders, we had some other contributions to that team, right? Some staff members who were part of it.
Yeah, it was a great honor for both our equipment manager Dave Gilbert and our hockey operations director Nick Sergey, both to earn that as far as being highly regarded in their professions, and they tend to rotate that around through college hockey, and obviously they want people that are going to be highly qualified, because those minor roles play major roles within a team, especially in a short-term event. I think that it was great for. David had a chance to do this in the past when I was coaching the national junior team, and this was Nick's first opportunity, which is good because he's one of the best in the business and working with video and knowing the technology, and especially being over in Europe, there's always different types of complications that you have to be prepared for.
As a coach, are you conflicted when one of your best players gets picked for a national team like this? I mean, the honor is great. It says great things about your program, but you got to play without him.
Yeah, I'm not really conflicted. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I mean, I started the national team program and was the national coach for several years. And believe it or not, back then, college teams and sometimes the players themselves would not allow them to go. And kids would not be able to take part in the World Junior Championships, which to me, after the Olympics, is the next biggest event that goes on internationally. And since the development of the national program in Ann Arbor and now in Plymouth, I think that kids aspire to play in that team now. It's a great tool for them to elevate their careers, but it's really about the opportunity to play. I mean, there's no greater honor than playing for your nation, and hearing the national anthem after a victory or after winning the gold medal. And I was fortunate enough to be part of that junior tournament for 6 years, and one of our main jobs was to try to educate people about the tournament, because even in the United States, I mean, it's the biggest event in Canada outside of maybe the Stanley Cup Finals, but in the United States, it was a pretty well-kept secret, and we had to educate college coaches, we had to educate players as far as the importance of this event.
Well, the increased visibility of it, I think, has really helped in terms of broadcast. It certainly got a lot of attention this year. Currently ranked 14th, 15th, depending upon the poll. A successful first portion of the season. Look ahead for me. What does it look like going forward?
Well, I mean, the second half is always tougher than the first, just because games start having more and more meaning to them. We had a meeting yesterday with our new mental conditioning coach, just to get an impression of what it's like to get your team ready for the second half of a season. In his case, it was pretty much post All-Star game, and for us, it's post Christmas.
Right.
Every year there's like 3 seasons. There's the first half of the regular season, the second half of the regular season, everything amps up, and then the playoffs, and it amps up again, and the intensity level gets higher at each turn. And the first half, we did a good job for a young group. I mean, we're averaging probably 14 underclassmen in the lineup every night. So we've got a younger group. I think the experience the sophomores had last year as freshmen has helped us a lot. But the second half is going to be more about our depth. It's going to be about, hopefully, injuries that we don't have. It's going to be about Cal and goal. That's going to be a big factor for us. And there's some parts of our game that we still have to clean up. But we have some tough games coming up here. We got Western Michigan this weekend, home and home. But then we go specifically to conference games. And we have, I believe we have 14 games left in conference, or 13 games left, one with BC here. We have BU, Providence. We have the top 4 teams or top 5 teams with the exception of UMass Lowell that we already played in our second half schedule. So it's going to be a demanding schedule.
BC's likely to come a little fired up. That's going to go down as one of the great hockey games this year, I think, pro or college. Tell me a little bit about the last, 7:30 of that game?
That's been an interesting trait of this team this year. Sometimes we fall behind, but last year I would have said that in that game we might have been done emotionally. This year I think we're much better in the mental toughness department. I think our teams, we did it again on Saturday night where we were down a goal, scored a goal with only about 30 seconds left in the game to tie it. But this team that night, we got some momentum, and that's hard to do on the road. Mm-hmm. But we had some really good performances by some guys, and our point men were actively involved in the offense. But we had good traffic at the net, and we were down 3-1. And then within a couple minutes, like you said, it was right around the 7-minute mark that the tide started to turn in our favor. And I thought the fact that BC was shorthanded at that point in time because they had some illness and they had some injuries. That we were able to use our depth to an advantage because we got production out of all 4 lines that night, and that was instrumental to being able to come back and score that huge win for us.
Well, it was certainly exciting hockey, as your games always are. I hope our fans come out in big numbers for the second half of what I know is going to be a really exciting season. Best of luck to you and the team in it, and we'll be watching you. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.